Hello and welcome to Soul Love with Kimness. I am Kim van der Zande, your host, and I'm super excited to share another episode of Soul Love with you, where we share inspirational and empowering stories from the heart. We talk about the beauty and the shadows as both are part of the ascension journey, to remind you that you are powerful, you are magical, and to have trust in what you feel to be true deep within. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Before we start the next Soul Love conversation, I want to invite you to check out my amazing book, Activating the Flower of Love, a sacred guide for manifesting your deepest desires and highest calling. This sacred book, filled with powerful tools and activations, will guide you to open your heart to the beauty and wisdom within you, empowering you to create the life you deeply desire from the foundation of love. You can find Activating the Flower of Love in all the major online and offline bookstores in ebook or paperback, or you can check it out through my website, kimness.nl, where you can also discover the different ways of working with me and the latest updates on new starting programs. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Welcome everyone to a new episode of Soul Love, and today I have the honor to share a sacred conversation with Addison Ames, and I really welcome you within this sacred space.
Kim, thanks for having me on, and thanks for opening up this very special sacred space. I love your work. I've grown to love you, so it's a great honor to be here with you today.
Likewise, we are both on a mission of sharing, empowering love, and connecting people with love in their own unique way. And I love what you're sharing with the world and how you are bringing it into the world. And there are many dimensions in what you share, because you share the message of empowering love, but you also channel Metatron. Mm-hmm. And I really, in this conversation, maybe we can surface or connect with both, but how did it start for you? What sparked for you this journey of empowerment, of stepping up into this space of sharing with the world? And yeah.
For sure. Well, you know, my background really is business and marketing. Yes. And I did that for many, many years. That was my career. I worked and lived in New York, San Francisco, Silicon Valley, traveled quite a bit. International business and marketing really is what was my focus. Yeah. And then I had a series of what I call awakening events. Yes. Where I just kind of saw things differently, knew things differently, like the world changed before my eyes. The way I saw myself changed. My guides and angels came in and started to work with me very, very hands-on. And Metatron was one of those that came in during the spiritual awakening process. And so my life changed dramatically. And
was there one particular thing that sparked it before we move into that sparked this awakening, or an event that happened? Or
well, you know, it's funny, people ask me that all the time. And I think it was just time.
Yes.
And I think, you know, you're a soul specialist. You love the soul. Yeah. You know, Soul Love is the name of this podcast, which I love. And I think the way that I see the soul is kind of like our best guide. And it really, as the essence of us, really knows what needs to change when. It kind of draws us on this life journey. So I really think it was just time, literally, for this to happen. You know, in the sequence of events in life, it is all divine timing, and things are all ordered really appropriately. If we like it or not, sometimes things happen and we go, why'd that happen? But it all works out in the end.
Later we understand, yes.
Yeah. So I think it was just time for it to happen.
But still, at one point you needed to say yes, because I see that also with beautiful souls I get to co-create with and I get to share time with. Like, they have these events and they get these opportunities, but still it's like you choosing to elevate, you choosing to step into this new version of you, you choosing to say yes to the angels, to Metatron, to all your guides that were coming hands-on. But it's still, in the end, we have a choice. So you chose, you felt inwardly like, this is my next aligned step and this is what I'm here to do. And I think it's brave, like seeing what you come from, like a really business side, and then stepping up into this space of sharing. Yeah.
And thank you for the acknowledgement. Yeah, I you know, it was at that point in time, it was I was always this kind of a spiritually minded person. I was always a
Mm,
really, really nice guy doing nice things.
yeah.
I saw myself as an evolved being, even though I hadn't gone through this awakening. So in a way, it was an easy choice, but in a way, it was a departure. So it was kind of a mix of those two things.
Yes.
And so my guides ultimately led me to quit my full-time job
Mm,
and start doing spiritual or awakened work full time.
yeah.
And so I started the business that I have now. It's changed quite a bit. But Metatron came in very strongly throughout this awakening process and worked with me through what I call kind of like training sessions
Yeah.
to understand him and his energy. As you and your viewers may know, it's a very big energy, a very big being.
Hmm.
So there was a transition to be able to kind of understand and work with that energy,
Yeah.
to kind of get a sense of who Metatron is. So there was a lot of education. And
Hmm.
then Metatron began to train me in how to channel.
Yes.
And so it was a process, pretty intricate and
Hmm.
ongoing.
Yeah.
But now I call myself a full body channel. So when I channel Metatron, I connect to Metatron, his mind, as I call it, his
Mm,
energy, kind of the being that is Metatron. He comes in and lovingly works with me and kind of, in a way, assumes my form. It's a full body channel. So
yeah.
you see Metatron move, you hear Metatron's voice and message. I kind of step back. I'm
Mm,
still there kind of listening, but really he takes on the show
yeah.
and imparts really high dimensional wisdom and knowledge that helps people step up to the next level.
Yeah.
You know, Metatron, as I'm sure you're aware, is really known as an ascension specialist.
Hmm.
And that's what I call him. So
Yeah.
he's helping people to transform and evolve and move forward on their spiritual journey, their ascension journey, their
Mm,
personal development journey, whatever they'd like to call it. Metatron works with people where they are and helps them to rise.
yeah.
So it's a beautiful being to work with, and I'm really honored to work with Metatron.
Yeah. But I think it's also beautiful in your story as you share, like, also you going through the training. So he first allowed you to experience his teachings, his energy, because it truly is when we embody, when we channel, when we connect to these higher vibrational states, also our physical body, all of us needs to get used to communicating, receiving, channeling, transmitting, all of that. It is a growth process on its own, and also like an adjustment for our body to hold, especially when you're a full body channel. It means those higher vibrational energies come into your physical body, but it means also your physical body needs to be able to hold those higher vibrational frequencies. So I love, as you shared in your journey as well, how and it's ever evolving. I also like, it's also in my journey now, we are consistently growing. So I love, like, your business, when you started it looked different than now, but it's logical because you keep evolving, and it's allowing your business, the message, to evolve with you, with consciousness, with, yeah. So I think it's beautiful, but also the really embodiment piece of first going through the training, going through these different phases, and in that embodiment piece, in you becoming this full body channel, what were powerful moments where you thought, okay, this was such an important lesson I received to be able to do this? Or
For sure. Well, it was a process.
yeah.
I find, like you were so beautifully saying, our existence is a process-driven place and space.
Yes.
And an ascension, which Metatron teaches about a lot, quite a bit, is many things, he says. And a lot of people want to know, like, one of the biggest questions, like, how do I ascend?
Mm-hmm.
How do I do this? How do I move
Mm-hmm.
forward on my spiritual journey?
Yeah.
One of the key teachings of Metatron is move.
Mm-hmm.
MOVE. Got to move, got to move, got to move.
Yeah.
He gives a lot of other aspects, but like you just said, we're always in transition. We're always changing, and we have to say yes to change.
Yes.
And so, if someone really wants to go on this spiritual journey in this beautiful world and beautiful body that we have, we're very special as the human race, but we're changing a lot.
Yeah.
Is that we have to be willing, be ready to change.
Yeah.
And you and I were talking before we started recording the podcast about how every 2 weeks, it's like every week we're like a new person. Every month,
Yeah.
it's like, who were we last month?
Yes.
And so I think to me, that is in a way a sign of someone who is really willing to change, leave the old behind, and move forward into the new, which is like, onward and upward, as they say.
But it's also being brave, like being brave to say yes to the unknown, because as we evolve as a collective, as a human, as we ascend into higher states of being, it is also a state that we don't see a lot around us. So we are moving on uncharted territory, and it is saying yes to that, because sometimes it can feel scary. Sometimes it can feel like fears will come up that prevent us to keep moving forward. So it is really, how does Metatron guide you in that, and people you to move past that? Does he has practical tips or?
For sure. Well, he talks a lot about love, and you're an expert in love. Way to go, kudos. And I consider myself an expert in love. And so one of the tips or tricks that Metatron talks about is, the background is we think now we understand love. But really, we're just beginning to understand love. The human race, we are not experts on love generally. So he really encourages people who are really working on their personal development, inspiration in their own lives, all the way up to one's ascension journey. Set the intention and work on this in your everyday life. I become an expert in love. I become a love expert. So even as we bravely move into new, higher concepts, ideas of ourselves, way to see the world around us, frequencies, vibrations, all these different ways of growth, one of the things he's taught me, and he teaches a lot of people, is don't consider yourself really separate from your brothers and sisters, from the people that are out there, but love them. And I think sometimes we, in an effort to move forward, we kind of separate ourselves from everybody else. And we have families, we have friends, we have colleagues and neighbors. It's really important not to see them as less than, oh, that's a low vibration person or whatever, that kind of thing. But we all rise together. So love your neighbor as yourself. It's an old teaching. And love yourself, of course, and love others. Everyone's on their own path. Please respect it and become an expert in love.
Yeah, it's an important message. And that's but it's true. But also the more we love ourselves and more we deepen into love, it creates resilience, but it also allows us to see others with compassion instead of so it really, for me as well in my own journey, it really supports me to rise above, and then from this higher perspective see things differently. But also what I notice is, as I deepen, as I embody more love, as I share more love, and I also notice that, but there are many teachings that say that the more you know, the less you know, because that is the moment you tune into this higher vibrational love field, like we are only consciously knowing a little part of what is possible when we reunite in love with ourselves and with each other. And we are just at the beginning of discovering the potency of it. And of also in my journey, I constantly, just like you, each time keep evolving, keep growing, expanding, raising my vibration. And that creates new awarenesses of things I thought weren't even possible. So it's really being on this pioneering journey of love. And that is also, being in this state of being open to not know, and being open to receive, and being open to look to things through different perspectives. And I don't know if you, but just in general, like, what is your message at this moment? Like, what is Metatron sharing in your guides? Well, what is so important in this time and space as we evolve so quickly and the earth rises her vibration? And for the next months, what is, when you tune in?
Well, I mean, there's a few of them. I mean, I would say lay the old to rest.
Yes.
Heal and get new. I say that's a key message. Lay the old to rest, heal, and get new. And the other part of that, really in tandem or in reflection to what you said, is flexibility. And a lot of people say, I'm on an ascension journey, flexibility. I need something better than that. Well, our soul guides us. Many of us have guides, angels, ancestors, other high dimensional beings that we work with that help us to evolve, whatever it may be. So in a way, the ascension and the evolution happens. It's happening around the world. It's happening for our planet. our whole neighborhood, as Metatron says many times, or calls it our universe, our neighborhood is evolving and changing. So we're part of it. So in a way, it's happening. But if we fight it, or if we are, sometimes Metatron says like old and crusty, then we're not really flowing and we can break apart. So always be ready to part ways with the past, heal whatever needs to be healed, because really kind of we're always healing in a way. Healing is generally an ongoing process. And then be moving in flexibility into the new. And that's really a key message of mine and also of Metatron. I help people with soul work, and I also work on people's personal timelines, which is kind of cool. A lot of people don't know that we have our own personal timelines.
Yes.
And so what I see with people many times is they're living in old timelines. They're living in the past. And so, the less energy that we bring in and invest there, and we're here and now, and always building the future, the quicker we can move into the new and higher understandings of ourselves and the world around us.
That's an important message, because in each and every moment we are creating. So where do we choose to put our energy towards? Is it repeating the past and creating that in our future, or aligning to the now moment and create? But it's just also in general, like if you just look around you, like the old paradigm has so been taught us to share or talk about things that didn't went right in the past, or things that a lot of us were taught that to talk about what you desire, what you're passionate about, to talk about the successes in your life and what you want to create, and to talk about just the now. So I think that's an important message, because by the old way of doing, we also have kept repeating these old cycles, and I think it's such an empowering message as well, by only changing our conversations, by only changing our thoughts, our alignment in the now, letting go of the past, we can already create such change for momentum and growth in the future. So I think that's a beautiful message to bring forth there.
Yeah, thank you. Metatron also talks about we are multidimensional. The human is really not just a one thing, but a many things, but a many thing. So the more that we can really get in touch with our heart, soul, refine and define our mind and our thought and think, the way that we understand, the way that we see the world around us and see ourselves and other people. And then there are more parts of us too. Metatron says that we actually hold 12 dimensions within us. We're a 12-dimensional being. So we're pretty complex. And he even said in a recent video that I channeled that we're only now beginning to understand the human. Yes. So he says, if you think you got it figured out, think again. We're multidimensional, we're complex. So also in a way, ascension or spiritual development is the exploration of ourselves and the accessing of our different dimensions, and in a way, our integration of all those things. So, a lot of people on a spiritual journey, you're looking way out there for answers. I need angels to talk to me, or I need this and that. And that's all wonderful. And I think that's great. But we hold, many say, all the answers within us. We hold a lot within us, let's say. So really, if we can be brave enough, bold enough, and loving enough to explore ourselves in our multidimensionality, it can be very rewarding.
It is, yes, it is. But it is, again, coming back to love, because the more we can embody love, the more we can also go on this exploration within ourselves, within our deeper layers, within our emotions. Because the moment we start to discover things in our physicality, in our body, the wisdom that is stored there, it also sometimes asks us to feel things we have not been wanting to feel. And that is why love is supporting us. But I love that what you shared again, because as you connect to love, you get to raise your vibration and look to different perspectives of your being. So I love the 12 elements as well, because before we weren't ready yet. There was like we were only looking in a certain direction. And as we elevate, as we raise our vibration collectively, we get to access these higher knowings. But I'm curious, like if you when you do these timelines, do they also go into these 12 different dimensions, or?
They do.
Yeah.
They do. So I'll talk a little bit about that because it really is interesting. Is we have stacked timelines, multidimensional timelines that, and I'll use just like the life that we live now, like as Kim, as Addison, that these timelines generally begin in the womb, when we are in our mother's womb. And I call that, at least the first one that develops when a person is in their womb, timeline one.
Yeah.
And timeline one turns into many timelines. The average person in the world today, like right here and now, may have up to 100 timelines open that they're accessing multidimensionally.
Yes.
And which is generally a little bit too much. So I work to help people go all the way back to womb timeline and sometimes ancestral and generational timelines, clean and clear those timelines, heal them, sometimes fold, close, and collapse them. So it moves the energy safely and securely out of the way so that people are not accessing those energies, information, traumas sometimes on a regular basis. And then as we grow and get older, we have a lot of timelines depending on the complexity of our lives, but they're many times multidimensional. So, I help people really focus by getting the timelines out of the way, by folding, closing, or collapsing, sometimes healing them, so that they have a fewer number of timelines open that are really focused on what they need to do. And then if they're trying to build some new parts of their lives, which could be like family, new career, new job, new financial abundance, new home, move to a new geography, we can together open up new timelines, which are kind of like places and spaces to build a new concept of yourself in. And that really empowers people to kind of get the old out of the way. Again, going back to this idea of ascension, you're getting the old out of the way, healing, getting some focus here, and you're always building, building, building into the new. So Timelines work is really fascinating and does a great job of showcasing how complex the human as a creator being really is.
Yeah, but also showing, I see that within the records as well. Sometimes we can try to fix a certain area in our life or try to overcome a certain pattern, but sometimes the anchors are so past, like in past lifetimes or in family lineages, or I love as you shared these different layers, like a 100, and then we can try to make things happen. But if like 10 or 20 or 30 of these layers are pulling us back, we can try as hard as we want, but it doesn't change anything. So I love also I'm very visual, so I also love the visual representation of that, because it's truly, the more I think all these timelines can be in alignment with now, we can truly build our future. But otherwise something from the past is keep pulling us back, or is keep, and it is also, when you're tuning into this, sometimes having compassion for yourself, because it's not always something you're conscious about. Most of the time these layers happen in your subconsciousness, in the parts you are unaware of. And yes, you see in your life something is not working, but it's also going into this broader perspective of who you are in all your multidimensionality to support you. And I think we are stepping into this next phase of empowerment. And I love that, where before we were just blind for it. And now it's like all these toolboxes are opening up for us, all these possibilities to access, to support our journey. So it's very exciting.
It is. And I appreciate your work you do in the records. And, if you think about it, really, this kind of work is brand new. If you look at the history of mankind, of humanity, it's really in the last 100 to 200 years that you really saw kind of like a refined science and approach of this kind of work. So, Metatron says this many times, you're brand new at this kind of stuff. Keep moving, keep exploring, and Metatron gently and sometimes a little bit more assertively pushes people to kind of say, okay, let's keep moving, let's keep going, keep going. And Metatron, I love what you said about having compassion for ourselves and being gentle and loving with ourselves. Metatron says, humanity, you're beautiful, 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 beautiful beings, because you do hard work. Humanity is generally hard work because we're moving in a way, our whole earth, our whole world and our neighbors into new, higher, and lighter realms.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we're, you know, we're farming a whole new way of life. So as we push and sometimes trudge through life, this information, this knowledge, this ability to get that deep-seated stuff out of the way is really powerful, really freeing.
Yeah.
So we can really kind of fly.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, and then it's also honoring again what we can do as one individual for the collective, for our neighbors. I love that because it truly is. So yeah, I don't know if there's a certain message you want to share via Metatron or.
Let me check in with Metatron. How much time do we have left, Kim?
We have about 10 minutes. So
okay, yeah. All right. Well, would you like to talk to Metatron? Would you like if I channel Metatron, or?
Yeah, maybe he has a beautiful message for the listeners of Soul Love for this now moment, supporting their journey.
Okay, well, let me check here. Okay, the answer is yes. I'm connected to Metatron. All right, give me just a moment, and I'll bring him in. Okay.
Yeah.
The truth of one's self is self-evident. Hello, Kim. Good to see you. We, Metatron on High, are happy to be here. We're happy to talk with you, and we thank you for the opportunity to share with you. You talk about messages. We have many messages. We talk a lot. But what we would say to you is this: open your eyes. The idea of awakening is an idea that we like. You are a multifaceted, multidimensional, many things stuffed into what you think is a one thing. Open your eyes. I am many things. Key message. I am many things. You use names. You call yourself Kim. He calls himself this, that, or the other. It is a one thing, and many people think I am a one thing. But you are many things. Please know yourself as many things. And what this does, it unlocks opportunity. Opportunity is not present in one's life if one doesn't know. If you don't know there's a new job out there waiting for you, and the job is kind of looking for you, it wants something like you, but you have no awareness of it, you don't get the job. So awakening, as we like to call it, you can call it spiritual if you like, but sometimes we say we don't necessarily like the word spiritual, because it connotes or denotes I have a belief system that is this and that. We hope this doesn't offend anyone, but we'd like for people to think beyond belief systems into knowing, high knowing, which comes down at a very high level, really into your soul, your mind, your heart, and your whole multidimensional self. There is what we would call high dimensional know. Now, we Metatron on High are high dimensional beings. We work as an archangel, but we are more than that. We're many, many things. We work in the all, which is more than just the existence that you know. And so as we drop down, what we say to you is there is a lot up there. There's a lot of potential. Love is, and there is a lot more, which in a way is information, knowledge, understanding, sharing. That's why when you all contact high dimensional beings, many times you get new ideas that can be groundbreaking and shaking. So as one is on a path of awakening, which we prefer to a spiritual path, because many times spiritual paths are built on practice, belief system, practice, terraced up, which can be helpful. But the thing that we love more than anything is open your eyes and see. So this is a key message for you. Kim, do you have questions for us?
I love the open your eyes and see. How do you embody that? How do you do that? What is the we need to see?
It is driven by your soul. So a technique or a tip and trick to do this is for you to get with your soul. If you or your viewers are not talking with your soul on a daily basis, we suggest please try it. I talk to my soul. My soul is my best guide. My soul guides me. My soul is the knower who knows. Now listen to this. My soul is the knower that knows. It knows what you need to see. Addison, the guy before you who speaks these words, talked about his awakening, which was very much like that. His soul, in a way, forced him to see things in new ways. It was truly an awakening. And as people understand this concept, they say, I am willing. So this is another answer to your question. Please be willing to open your eyes and see. Now, with that sometimes comes a very great scene change. An idea of ascension is this: I'm on a plane, the plane takes off, and as it goes into new higher heights, the scene changes. Instead of seeing the ants on the ground, you see clouds, and they resound. As one changes, one knows things differently. The soul knows. Now, you all as personalities are kind of like the knower that doesn't know, or the forgetter who forgot. You don't know. That's why you come to meetings like this, you who watch this. That's why people read books. That's why people go to spiritual awakened teachers, all these kinds of things, because they want know. Teach me information. Give me the stuff that helps me to understand what's happening. As one knows, one grows. So in answer to your question, also in part, please listen and grow. The scene changes up on high. So if you are flying high, if you're growing, if you've taken off from the ground, the scene changes. Allow your soul to drive it. Say, soul, help me to awaken, and I'm willing. I am willing. I am willing. This is the key part about many people. They don't want to change. Maybe you've seen people like that. I don't want to change. I want to grow, but I don't want to change. I want to go to school, but I don't want to do the homework. It is a process. As one becomes something greater, they change. And much love to you, dear one, because you, Kim, you change, you change, you change, you change, you change, you change, you change. And this is driven by your multitudinous self. You have many, many different ways to be. Does this answer your question?
Yes, beautiful. I feel the vibration as well. So thank you. Yes.
Any other questions for us?
I don't have any questions now. No, I'm all about already what you shared. So yes.
We'll leave you with this. The soul knows, the personality seeks and finds. Many of you talk about third dimensional understandings, which we tell you this in truth. You are more than just 3D. You're more than just 3D. In fact, we believe this and know this so much that we tell you, please stop saying I'm in the 3D or 3D this or that, because it helps lock you in the 3D. You are more than 3D. You are truly 1 through 12. You are many, many things. In a way, in your world, you're kind of forced into perception of self that is limited. You are more than just one. You are a many. So as the soul knows, the personality is seek and find, which is a way to understand 3D. Seek and find, figure it out, work it out, spreadsheet it out, write it out, understand it out. But truly the soul, which is your essence, the purest part of you, always, listen to this, knows. So if you're seeking for, how do I awaken? How do I open my eyes? How do I see myself and the world around me differently? Talk to your soul. It knows. Now, your soul doesn't always tell you everything. Here's why. Because in the divine understanding of the human, there is, let's say, beauty behind the idea of I figure it out. So your soul will say, you know what? Marry this person. And there are challenges in the marriage, in the relationship. Because from a divine standpoint, a creator standpoint, the big thinker that thinks, and you all are, it is this. In the essence of humanity, it is work it out, think it out, march it out, act it out. You are all players on the stage and you play it out. The soul knows, it guides, it gives you what you need, and it helps you what you call ascend, which is going to new higher heights the scene changes. Talk to your soul, it will awaken you. But you, human, persona, personality, name, whatever you'd like to call it, are in a state by where Earth is, but where creation is really, where you must seek and find and think it out, figure it out, intuit out, feel it out, and work with your soul, really. You who wish to ascend, say, soul, what I got to do here? Soul, guide me. Soul, lead me. I am willing. I'll do it. I'll do what it takes. Let's go. And in that softness, that flexibility, that movement thereof, you find great grace. Which to us, grace doesn't mean you get off on all this stuff. Grace means you are in alignment. And we'll end on this note. Beautiful, 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 Kim. Grace, in a way, which is a beautiful word, we encourage you to use it, please. Grace means I am in divine alignment. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm doing what I'm called to do. And I move forward in flexibility and what we would call grease ability. We'll explain that briefly here, dear Kim. Is we Metatron on high drop down and what we call grease the wheels of ascension. We help make everything work. Things get stuck sometimes, just like in a mechanical understanding. It needs to work and it needs lubrication in order to move. So as we drop down, we give you this information and the energies, the frequencies and vibrations so that you can move, move, move. In alignment, things move. Just like your car, if you drive a car, when it is in alignment, it moves forward with smoothness and many times elegantness. The human is a powerful being. So allow yourself to know yourself as your soul, your essence, your power, your know, and allow you, persona and name, Kim, Addison, and whatever your name may be, you who watch this, to say, I am willing to talk with my soul, work with my soul, love my soul, love my soul as myself, and let it be in grace, in truth, in glory. And we use that word mainly because we like it. We like the sound of it. Glory in this case means you are, and you are, and you are, and you are, and you're more than what you thought you were. And on this, we say thank you, Kim, and thank you all who watch, and we leave.
Thank you. Thank you. There are so many beautiful gems in that share of us being more than we are and seeing, but it's truly like it's seeing and knowing with every cell of our body, because our soul knows our truth and knows, and I love the grace and all you've shared and stepping into this multidimensional, allowing everything to move. But also when we ask for guidance, sometimes what the world is, what our earthly experience is giving us is something totally different than what our minds likes, but it is to allow us to grow, to expand. So again, are we willing to say yes, even if it's stretching us? Are we willing to be with grace with whatever comes on our path? So thank you for sharing this transmission, because there was so much more shared beyond the words and beyond the human understanding again. So I really, if you're tuning into this, invite you to feel with every cell of your body as well, because thank you.
Thank you, Kim. I want to thank Metatron. Thank you, Metatron. And, you know, it's funny, he likes to talk. So I could feel him saying, I know I've only got 10 minutes, so I've got to keep it brief, but he would have continued for a while. But thank you for letting him speak. And again, thank you, Metatron, for your energies and for your wisdom.
Thank you both. Yeah. And if you want to see more of Addison and want to see more of his beautiful channelings, Metatron and other beautiful beings of light and love and his empowering work, I want to invite you to check out all his details in the information below and really tune in. And you're also on YouTube with different videos as well. So if there's one empowering message to close off this beautiful conversation to everyone tuning in, what would it be?
That's a tough one. I would say B-E.
Yes, I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this sacred conversation. I'm looking forward to witnessing the beauty and the grace you are birthing into the world. And everyone tuning in, thank you for checking in to these beautiful, empowering conversations. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next Soul Love.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, everyone. Much love.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining this episode of Soul Love. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can find it below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Much love.